session brought to you by the Value Loop. The Value Loop is a community of driven professionals committed to growth and collective success. Here, we turn potential into performance through shared learning and real conversations that inspire actions. We bring you exciting and invaluable sessions bi-weekly. If you're joining us for the first time today, please visit our YouTube channel at _Value Loop to watch the previous sessions. Getting right to it, our speaker for today is a passionate advocate for youth empowerment and transformative leadership across Africa. With a background in international relations and a natural gift of communication, he combines professional expertise with a deep commitment to community development. His leadership journey spans student governance and event coordination, from serving as a student union government president and team captain at Webster University, Ghana, to leading major initiatives for the Northern Nigeria Student Association and Art Africa. These roles refine the strengths in public speaking, teamwork, and influencing diverse audiences. Professionally, our speaker has built strong experience in strategic communication at MTN Nigeria and gained policy exposure during his internship at the Nigerian Communications Commission. Please join me in welcoming Abba Aliyu Bako, our speaker for today. Abba, over to you.
A very good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Tosin, for the wonderful and very exhilarating introduction. You make me blush early in the morning. So we'll jump right into it, and I would share my screen to show my presentation so we can go ahead. Great. So once again, a very good morning or good afternoon to everybody, depending on where you're joining from. I am aware that we have people from across the board, so Ghana, Nigeria. Thank you for joining and thank you for being here to listen to me give you some valuable keys on a very interesting and very valuable topic around life skills. So today's topic is based around public speaking, which is an essential life skill needed for leadership, career success, individual growth. So public speaking and communication, effective communication, if I may. This session is designed to practically give you ideas on ideologies on how to publicly speak with confidence when it comes to pitching ideas to your colleagues, when it comes to having a job interview, when it comes to just speaking normally in the workplace or in general public. So we'll go ahead and start with why public speaking matters. Public speaking is something that every individual should have in their locker. I say locker because you might have different things that are skills that you use on a daily basis that you wouldn't even know or even understand. So, sorry, I think we have a technical. Great. So why public speaking matters? Public speaking helps individuals build up their careers. So starting from how public speaking leads to you building leadership, building influence, building career goals, and building things like self-confidence. So once you ask yourself why this matters, why should you be able to speak in public? Why should you be able to listen to, why should you be able to enter a room and everybody will listen to you? Why should you be the center of attention? So that is what I'll be taking you through today. So the definition from the top of my head would be that public speaking is a skill for delivering ideas, for intentionally talking to influence, to teach, and to educate whoever it is that you are speaking to. It can range between one person, two people, three, to a whole crowd, to a whole nation. And today I'll be using a number of people as examples to tell you how stages of public speaking help as well. So from why it matters, we will be looking into how it influences your career, how it influences you as a leader, or how it builds you as a leader, and how it influences your personal growth as well. I'm pretty sure by the end of this, you will understand one or two things on how to publicly speaking. Okay. I think we have a apologies. Apparently, you can't see my screen, and I'm trying to.
We apologize for the technical glitch that we're experiencing. We're trying to resolve it. Start soon. Apologies, please.
Apologies for the slight technical glitch. Great. So you can see the screen and the presentation again. So let me just start all over. A very good morning and good afternoon to you all. Welcome to another series of the Value Loop. Today, I'll be taking you through public speaking and communication skills as a valuable life skill. Today's topic has importance because it helps grow an individual in multiple ways. So we'll go right into it and start by telling you why public speaking matters. Public speaking in its own entity is a life skill that helps you deliver ideas very clearly, very confidently, and very intentionally to influence the individual that you are speaking to or the group of individuals that you are speaking to. It helps you educate, it helps you inspire, and it helps you motivate the crowd or the audience that you are addressing. In this presentation, we would have life skills, or we'll try and point out life skills that you think you don't have when it comes to public speaking. So you might already be doing this and you wouldn't know. We'll also be tackling things like stage fright and why you can't publicly speak, or why you think public speaking is not for you. So why public speaking matters is it influences your careers, it influences your leadership qualities, it also influences your personal growth. These all intertwine into one thing because obviously if your personal growth is going up, it means that this is influenced by your career as well and your leadership skills that you might not even be aware that you have. In terms of building leadership qualities, when you are publicly speaking, people would want to listen to you. Your ideas will be stated very clearly, very fluently, and with confidence. So you see some leaders, bold chest, carrying ideas, and they're speaking them, communicating them positively, and the people understand them, and people are fighting to go and listen to them or fighting to defend the ideas that they have. It also enhances your confidence and your career success. Let's say you're going or you're walking into an interview. If you walk in shoulders down and you don't look confident at all, the interviewers might feel like, okay, you might be a bit nervous and you don't even qualify for the role. So you might get eliminated from that role just from there. It also helps you articulate your ideas very clearly. Let's say you're also having a talk, maybe on TED Talk or an interview, a TV interview, a radio interview. When you're speaking about something, you speak about it very clearly, articulate it. Your choice of words matters, particularly depending on when you're speaking, that type of audience you're talking to, age range, intelligence-wise, intellectually wise as well. So it also helps in team building, in business ideas as well, and in the community. Let's look into people that speak to their local communities, people that speak to their teams in terms of leadership, and people that just normally are around the area and they just talk to everybody. So the quote I have underneath, every speaking moment shapes how people perceive you. The first impression people get of you is how you're dressed. If you're dressed very well, if you're well kept, it gives them an impression. The second impression is after you open your mouth. Once you speak, it will influence how that person perceives what you look like. So you might look very clean, very tidy, very well put together, but you don't know how to articulate yourself. It might deduct points from that first impression that people have about you. So what makes a powerful speaker? So a powerful speaker obviously would have certain qualities such as confidence, connection with the audience that he's speaking to, a structure of how he is speaking, a storytelling type of structure as well, and then voice control or vocal control, if I may. Vocal control in the sense that you speak in a certain way that make people want to listen to you. And very strong body language is very important when it comes to this as well, because when you stand upon a stage, you control the stage, you walk around, you pace around, and you make eye contact with people, make them understand that you're confident. I am talking to you and I want you to listen to me. I need you to understand what I'm saying. I am delivering the message so that it will motivate you, it will give you ideas, or it will inspire you to do better in life. It can also come in different ways. Maybe you are trying to put together a presentation similar to this one and you want the audience similar to you, listen to what I am here to tell you. So some of you might be on your phones, but the way I would speak would make you want to check your phone and see who is this individual that's talking. If I came up and I was speaking with a very monotone voice, very low, and not trying to present to you in a certain way, you might just doze off or start feeling like I'm dragging this too much or it's not something for you. But you present with confidence, you stand, and you show that this is why we're here. So again, another quote I have from a book that I'll talk to you about later is, presence is the speaker's silent language. I usually use Michael Jackson as an example, not a public speaker, but a public figure. Before, when he was alive, there was this popular video of him standing on stage without saying anything for 1 whole minute, and people were fainting, people were jumping, the crowd could not control themselves because he has such a stage presence. That is the type of stage presence that we want you to understand how to create for yourself when you publicly speak. If a president is walking up to the stage with his entourage and he presents up on stage, people listen because they want to hear him address a whole nation, not just the people in the room. So we'll move on to the next slide. Like I said previously, how you vocally control the room, control your speech, and how your body language carries yourself onto the stage. When you're walking onto a stage, you maintain an open, confident posture. You walk straight, you walk like you own the building, and you show them that I am the boss and you're here to listen to me. So those are words that somebody has told me before, and I have kept them with me ever since I started presenting, hosting, and publicly speaking to anybody. So using purposeful gestures as well. When you are talking, you can engage the crowd. Hand gestures, so people can know that you are not boring. Maybe folding your hands and speaking to the public might feel like you are trying not to do something, or you are trying to be not assertive, or not being very comfortable on stage. Maybe you're trying not to fidget. Fidgeting might be okay to some extent, not just picking up a pen and fidgeting with it, but walking around the stage, explaining yourself, using hand gestures to direct and make it look like this is what is happening, explaining properly. And this extends to different types of people. So if you see a speech by maybe the King of England, you wouldn't see him doing a lot of hand gestures. He sits down, he speaks to royalty. When you see people like speaking on stage, like maybe Kevin Hart, a comedian, he would be holding a mic, trying to look into people and giving them, cracking jokes and getting to engage the crowd. These are different types of public speakers. You go from royalty to someone that controls the crowd in the name of Kevin Hart. So make your movements very natural as well. Avoid pacing, over excessive pacing. If you're speaking, you can pace around, but make it very natural that you are having a conversation with the whole room. So the people at the end, from the left to the right, to down the middle, to the entire room at once. Make sure you keep consistent eye contact. So a tip I have for this is start with making eye contact with the person you're most comfortable in the room with first, then you extend to the second person you're comfortable with, to the third, and then by the time you know this, you are very comfortable to speak to the whole room. And this also builds your confidence as you are speaking extensively. So let your facial expressions also reflect the message that you have. You can't be telling an inspirational story and your face is sad, or you can't be giving a goodwill message and you look very gloomy. You have to be excited. You have to carry it, big smiles, give people confidence that you also are happy to be here and you're happy to speak to them. So when it comes to vocals, you have to control your pitch. So if you know people that are in certain fields, let's say a radio broadcaster, someone that's used to broadcasting on TV, someone that's a comedian, someone that's a public speaker, someone that is a public figure as well, a politician, multiple degrees of public speakers have different ways that they control or project their voices. So you have to breathe very calmly, speak with confidence, speak from your diaphragm, speak from your chest, make sure that your message is firm, make sure that your voice is commanding. You don't have to have a fragile voice or make it shaky. Make sure that you control, you have that confidence to speak. Best practices is to practice with yourself in the mirror. Speak to yourself when you're used to doing that over time. Like they say, practice makes perfect. You get to that and then you can easily deliberate and speak to anyone and control a room. So crafting your message when you walk on stage, crafting your message starts from before you even walk on stage. When you get your topic, you start, okay, how do I deliver this? How do I keep the audience engaged? What message am I trying to portray? So you start with a hook. You would use things like, this is what we're doing today. Hello, good morning. We're here to present to you on this, this, and that. You give out what it is you're presenting, who you are, make them excited to want to listen to you. Then you tell them why you're here. It doesn't necessarily have to be a problem. But if it is a problem, you tell them, okay, this is the problem. There's global warming. We're trying to solve global warming, or we're trying to give you the necessary know-hows on how to tackle global warming. This is the solution. Okay, we need to stop burning bushes. We need to start cutting trees down, and we need to stop things like carbon emission and stuff like that. Then you go into things like call to action. What should we do? We shouldn't just rely on the government to say, okay, no more carbon emissions, no more cutting down of trees. Individually, you need to start understanding that I wouldn't litter. I would use my car less so that I'll take the bus. I'll use an electric car. Things like this is how you deliver it, and they'll understand that this is what you mean. This is the voice you have, and this is what you are delivering to them. So the most essential thing when you are publicly speaking is to use visual aids. I wanted to add more slides, but the slide that I am currently using should be the best example of what to do. So when you're using visual aids, try as much as possible not to overcrowd your slides. That's one. Use very minimal text and then use pictures, because as they say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. A picture alone, if you put up a picture on a slide, a lot of people will have different perceptions of it. So if you go around the room and you ask, what do you think about this picture? What do you see? This is speaking from an art curator mindset. If you look at a painting, what do you see there? What is that you interpret from it? What do you understand by this? So this is essentially why visual aids are used during presentation. An example I always use is the presentation by Apple. Every year they find a way to make people want to get hooked to the Apple devices, to the Apple ecosystem. They have beautiful presentations. They make it look well put together, beautiful screens, beautiful colors, and then they present it with speakers that are very eloquent as well. With this also, if you are presenting, let's say in a work environment, you put up charts, you put up icons, and you put up strong graphics that would defend or that would help you explain what it is that you are putting onto the screen. So you can see on the picture that I have, she's clearly explaining to her manager or her colleague on what she's trying to do, but she doesn't have visual aids. So she would have to explain to her, and you can see she's throwing her hands in hand gestures type of manner. trying to convince or explain to her what it is they're doing. So we move on. So while you're presenting, you encounter things such as curveballs. So this particular one is for people that speak to the press or speak to the general public that might have questions after. It can also be a presentation at workplace, it can be a presentation in class where people will ask, so how did you come to that decision, or why is that your opinion on this, or why is this? Or if you're speaking for if you're speaking from a PR perspective where you have to calm the general public. Let's say there's panic within the country and you're trying to put out words of calmness from the president's office or the orientation minister's office. You're trying to get people to relax or calm down the general public. You speak in a certain way. People, journalists, and everyone will ask you questions. So what if this doesn't work? What if that doesn't work? Things that you need to learn from this is how to embrace them. There are questions that will come to you that we wouldn't know how to handle, but these will eventually build confidence for you under pressure because you understand that questions will come and I will answer them. What kind of questions, or how do I answer them? The most important thing here is to understand that if a question comes to you and you don't have the answer, never crumble or make it look like you don't know how to answer the question. Take a deep breath, pause, and then answer the question to the best of your ability. If you don't have, you make a referral to someone that does, or you say things like, I would answer this question now, but it is not within my field, or it is classified, or you go the classic Mourinho way and say, I have no comment. These are just side means to answer curveballs. But what curveballs will teach you is that it will help you build confidence under pressure. They will show you the authenticity of what you are doing, or how people have been listening to you, or what it is that you are telling them, because they are actually listening and they are picking things on what to ask you. It's also a reminder that your presentation or what you're delivering is not always perfect. People always have questions because the world is curious. People want to know what it is to do. So once again, if you get stuck when you are hit with a curveball, you again take a pause, take a deep breath. Silence might be your ally. Just take a breath, recount your steps, and know exactly how to answer. It is also very important to always keep calm. People might try to agitate you. That is one of the biggest curveballs. They'll agitate you into saying things that you might not know how to answer, or saying things that would take a turn, or saying things that will incriminate you or implicate you in certain situations. It's also good sometimes to have a sense of humor. You can use humor to reduce the tension, cut the tension in the room, so that people would relax. It will just dial some things down. Then you can answer the questions to the best of your ability. So I have been quoting things from a book, and that book is Command Your Stage. So Command Your Stage is a book written by Mrs. Bimbo Olayede. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that properly. I apologize to the Yoruba community. But lessons from this book are that preparation grows confidence. Once you prepare, you're confident about what you've put up when you're publicly speaking. You do it over and over and over again, so it is perfect. Even if you have an hour, read it again, read it again, read it again, till you can present it without anyone saying or anyone teaching you what it is that you're doing. So that once curveballs like that come, you know how to handle them. It's also important to, like I mentioned earlier, to keep your body posture, your body language very, very positive. How you present yourself, like I said again, from your dressing to how you speak to how you carry yourself, would matter when you're speaking publicly. If you have any ounce of fear in you, and you allow the general public to see, or you allow people like investigative journalists to see it, they will poach on it and they will ask you questions till you crumble. But if you're confident and you're answering with confidence and you give them very productive answers, people wouldn't come to you saying, oh, I asked him questions and he couldn't answer and he did this, he did that. And again, authenticity is your power. You're genuinely understanding what you're talking about. You genuinely understand what you're delivering to people as well. And any questions that will come to you, you would know how to answer them. So when you're speaking from your heart because you did the presentation. When you're speaking, let's say you're motivating, you actually mean it. And then another lesson from the book is connect emotionally. So some of the speakers I might speak about later connects to you on a different level. They will try and relate to you so that when they're speaking to you, understand what it is that they are saying. Okay, this is a person that relates to what it is that I'm struggling. This is a person that understands what it is that it means to be a normal Nigerian and needs to be a normal citizen. They understand what I am. They understand what I'm going through, and they would want to help, or they want to motivate me to become better. A quote from the book that I appreciate is that a speaker must stand with intention, speak with clarity, and connect with sincerity. Once you do this, you would easily achieve the status of a public speaker. So a major thing, again, from the book is overcoming stage fright. This always comes up when it comes to the topic of stage fright. So some of the practices I use and some of the practices I've taken from the book, again, is ground breathing. So you breathe, make sure that you're always in control of your breath so that you don't hyperventilate. You speak, you control how you breathe, you control how your voice comes out, and you control what it is that is happening. A powerful pose. You can go on stage, like I mentioned, and I keep illustrating that you have to walk with purpose, you have to stand with purpose, and then show that you are there to speak to them and they are there to listen to you. This should always be in your mental psyche. Mental reframing as well. You need to know what stage of your presentation you are at, how to speak into the presentation, and how to guide yourself into the next stage of the presentation. Again, practice is always important. So you start with practicing with a small audience. You can start with yourself. You can record yourself or open your camera and speak to yourself, see how that goes. Then you start with one person, start with two people, start with three people that you're confident with and you're comfortable with. Then by the time you know it, and it moves into a larger crowd. You can also start with storytelling. Normal storytelling, telling stories to like little kids, telling stories to a bunch of people. Craft it well and understand how to speak to them. They would want to listen to you, and eventually you would know that your audience is growing, and then people start understanding you. People would want to listen to you. People even invite you to places just to speak. So a quote from the book, I keep quoting the book: fear disappears when preparation appears. Once you are very prepared, you own the stage, you stand and you command the stage, like the book says. So another thing I like to mention is you have to learn from the best. So as a public speaker, you need to pick someone that speaks to how you want to speak publicly. Someone that when they speak, they inspire you. This is the person I look up to. This is the person that I would want to speak like one day. So storytellers, broadcasters, politicians, motivational speakers, all these people you might have, it might even be your boss. For me personally, I have people that I look up to in the workplace and I want to speak like them. I want to be like them, and I want to be able to control or have control over my voice the similar way they do, even if my main motivation and my main inspiration is also someone that I'm very close to. So with this, we have people or fictional characters that I want to give you an example of how they, when they speak, they inspire people. So on the top left, you have Optimus Prime. When he speaks in the movies and in the comics and whatnot, it makes you want to become a truck. It takes a lot for a machine to want to convince a human being to become a truck to jump into war and fight the Decepticons and fight other people and save the world and whatnot. Then on the bottom, there's Captain America, who also gives inspirational speeches and drag people into fighting aliens, which takes a lot. Personally, I wouldn't want to fight any aliens or anything. With this also, I have another fictional character in the name of Mr. Raymond Reddington. Raymond Reddington has such a control over English, over the English language and over how he speaks. He can threaten an entire nation in a very calm manner that it doesn't sound like he's serious, but it's very serious, that it will send chills down your spine. I am using these characters because they are characters that if you look them up, you would understand why they are part of this presentation. So again, learning from the best, we have one of the best public speakers when it comes to speaking to a nation, speaking to the entire world. This is former President, Mr. Barack Obama. Obama has traits that he carries as a masterful storyteller. When he's speaking to you, he starts with telling you about a story from 1970 or 1980 something, and he tells you when they were in this part of the world or when they were in that part of the world. He tries to relate to the audience that he's speaking to. Then he also strategically paces how he speaks to people. I was the president of this and that. When this and this happened, we presented this and that. He uses his voice, which he knows is very good. He understands that his voice is very projected. He does it with confidence. He also dresses very well, and he makes you want to listen to him. Aside the masterful storytelling, he also connects to you emotionally, like we mentioned before. He would give you a story that makes you confirm that he has probably lived what you are living, or he understands what you're going through. Then he also has inspirational closing. So by the time he ends his speeches, you would want to become president of the United States or president of your own country, or you would want to inspire someone else. So that is something that's some of the traits that he has. Then lessons we can take from this is start speeches with human stories. You can say, it doesn't even have to be a story that you know. Maybe you've heard a story about someone, or you've seen a story. It could be online. It could be something that you experienced. Start with that just to connect with the person. You can also use emotional pauses, emotional punctuations. You stop at a certain place so people maybe might be able to clap, or people might be able to think about it, digest it. Okay, yeah, I have seen this before. Where have I seen it before? How do I relate to it? Then you speak very slowly, not very, very slowly, but slowly and very deliberately, that people would understand you. You can't be speaking very fast and let people, some things might even misplace while you're speaking. Then you give them a memorable call to action, like President Obama does. The next speaker I would have on this is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He's a very revolutionary leader and very revolutionary communicator when it comes to speaking to the general public. Kwame Nkrumah led the independence of the Republic of Ghana. So you can imagine trying to come up with a speech to inspire a whole nation to gain independence or after independence. So what he used is ideological depth. I have a dream of a Pan-Africa, an Africa that is united, an Africa that you can cross borders without a passport. You can meet your brother from Ghana, Togo, from Rwanda without having to use a passport, but we identify as Africans. These are the type of ideologies that will make him a visionary. As he's speaking, he's not speaking of just now, he's speaking of the future, he's speaking of the future's future. He would start with things from the past. Okay, the past had people that were ruling us, people that are not from here. We want to take independence, gain independence, and then move ourselves forward in this manner. With these traits, you have to be very bold. You have to have a repetitive message that will keep ringing in people's ears. I am trying to take you forward. I am trying to move you into a better environment, and I'm trying to take you into the next step of our lives. So you also use things like moral conviction. Our tradition is this. Our tradition is that. We want to carry it and uphold it so that the whole world will know that we are Africans and this is what we are building. Practical lessons from this is you build the message around the strong idea that you have. In this case, he had the Pan-African idea. Make the message repetitive and reinforce it into your theme so that people will listen to you. Everywhere they hear something Africa, Pan-Africanism comes into it. Speaking clearly and speaking with purpose is something that you have to understand when you are speaking in these terms. The next speaker is Alhaji Maitama Sule, Alhaji late Ambassador Maitama Sule. I like to call the Oracle of Eloquence. I had the privilege of meeting or listening to Ambassador Maitama Sule speak one time. This was in a place that had a mix of people from around the world, and every single individual, down to a toddler, kept quiet to listen to him as the room echoed. Ambassador Maitama Sule speaks with cultural wisdom. He is not afraid of the type of accent he has. He has a very mixed accent from when he learned from the colonial times to his mix of his Hausa and Fulani blood and heritage. He speaks to it, and he speaks with proverbs. He speaks with metaphors that are very rich, that will keep you thinking. He has a very calm manner of speaking, and he speaks very diplomatically as well. But it's also very plain that you will understand that this is what he's speaking to. I wanted to play a video on this presentation, but it would drag too much. But these are assignments that I would be giving you to look at every single speaker that I have mentioned and learn from them. These are templates of people that you can learn from and become better public speakers. The next speaker I have is someone that is very close to me and has inspired me to become a public speaker as well. So Dr. Nasir Aladipo is the voice of broadcasting excellence, like I also like to call him, and he has been introduced like this as well at events that I have been to with him and events that I have heard him anchor. So he has exceptional voice control because he has spoken on radio, television, he has spoken in normal interviews, he has spoken and addressed the nation, he has spoken and addressed crowds, public gatherings, presidential rallies, and stuff like that. So once he is speaking, depending on what it is he's speaking on, he has a control. If it's on the radio, he uses a radio voice. He speaks with different mannerisms. Once he speaks on TV as well, he knows how to speak and control the audience that he's speaking to. He knows how to direct questions. He knows how to moderate the environments that he speaks on. He also engages in storytelling. I can tell you from personal experience that he remembers things from 1960 something when he was born, 1970 something, 98 something. Every single decade, he has a memory or has some sort of memory that would give you an idea of he has lived this or he has experienced this or he knows it from somewhere. The composure and precision he uses to deliver his messages are something that I try to emanate every time I speak, because he has a control that the room wants to listen to him. The room wants to be like him. I've met a couple of his students that say, how did he get there? He got there from over 50 years of experience and practice. So practical lessons is you have to train your voice intentionally. So once you're speaking, you understand that, yes, this is somebody that's spoken in public before. This is somebody that can speak in public. If you haven't gotten a compliment that your voice is nice, you should try speaking on radio, or you should try being a TV presenter, or you should try being an MC or a host. These are things that you can train and you can continue practicing till somebody gives you that compliment or people even tell you that you are great at this. So pay attention to your breathing and pacing as well, how you speak, how you breathe, and where the voices come out from is very important. So the last one on this is that you have to project confidence. I can tell you again from personal experience that when he speaks like he owns the stage. The last speaker I would have would be Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So she's an authentic narrator. So I'm using her because she started off as a writer and a storyteller, but she publicly speaks as well. And when she does, she has a storytelling type of tone. She speaks from personal experience, she speaks on honesty, and she uses a mix of humor and intelligence to keep the crowd engaged. So I remember her public TED Talk, public, very famous TED Talk, we should all be feminists, sorry. That is so inspirational that and a clip of it ended up on a Beyonce song, Flawless, which a lot of young people started knowing who Chimamanda is, aside Purple Hibiscus and all our other books. People started knowing, okay, this is a Nigerian lady. She has spoken so well that she got on Beyonce's song, Who Is She? And she started trending around that time. So practices and lessons from this is that you should always be authentic when you're speaking. You need to have confidence on what you're speaking about, and you need to have personal experiences to be able to teach or portray the truth of what you're speaking of. So there's also a saying, speak your truth. Americans use it a lot to say that when you're speaking, speak from your heart, speak to the person that you're speaking to, or speak to the audience that you're speaking to. So with this, we would be rounding up very soon. We wanted to do an interactive session and have someone from the audience volunteer to pick one of these and give us an interesting, maybe 30-second story challenge, or an impromptu topic game. So let's see if we have anybody that would volunteer to do this. There is a prize for anybody that volunteers. So I don't know, Usman, if anyone volunteers, we can give the person the 30 seconds to just give us something very easy, very nice. Then we can conclude from there. And if we don't have any volunteers, we can end the session and then take questions, if any. Right, so no one?
It seems people are still trying to, they are taking it all in.
Okay,
so
that's fine. So give us some 30 seconds and see if no one pops up, then we can take in questions and end the session. Great. So I think, Tosin, we can end the session and take questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Abba. Wow. This has been very, very insightful. And I'm sure that's why we are having this silence. I'm sure people are taking it all in, trying to reflect on it and pick one or two things that resonates with them and the ones they will likely need to work on. You had some great quotes there from the Bimbo Oloyede's book, Command Your Stage. A speaker must stand with intention, speak with clarity, and connect with sincerity. So that sums basically what we've discussed today. It sums it up. And when you prepare, fear disappears. So no matter what you want to do, aside from even speaking, you need to prepare. Because when you're prepared, no matter what is thrown at you, you'll be able to confront it and be able to handle it. Thank you so much, Abba, for this
Absolutely.
wonderful session. And this is what we do at Value Loop. We make sure, we ensure that we bring you valuable sessions, insightful topics that will make you reflect, will make you understand yourself and will make you a better person. So let's move on to questions. I can see we have lots of comments and so someone is asking for the source to get the copy of the book. That's Command Your Stage. So if you have a link to it, you can get in touch with the person to get the book.
No problem. We will
Yes.
I can message the person, and if they send us an email, we would confirm where to get the book for them if they need it.
Okay. So we have a question. Is public speaking an innate skill someone is born with, or is it something one develops? Because people like Obama seem to have it as a natural gift.
Thank you for that question. That is actually that's a question that I constantly get when I do presentations like this. So I think for some people, they're natural born leaders, and from there it comes naturally to become a public speaker. So from Obama's point of view, I can understand that he has grown into it, and it comes naturally for him because he has the voice, he has the stature, and he has the control over that kind of public speaking. For me personally, I think I inherited part of it, and I also practiced into going into it because obviously I have a background, or I have people around me that have publicly spoken for years with experience, and I have seen them do this so much that it has become part of me, and I've also practiced it in a way that it has become second nature, that I can speak anywhere and it is just normal. So to answer your question, you might not be born with it, but you can grow into it, particularly if you have people that influence it around you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have another question. Please, what do you suggest your eye level should be when speaking? Is it directly to the eyes or what?
Self-confidence comes from making direct eye contact. Let's give an example. If you are walking into a room for an interview, from the way you shake the person that's interviewing you to the eye contact you make, the person will know that you're very confident. During the presentation, I mentioned if you're presenting to a room, you make eye contact with the first person that you're very comfortable first. Then you also, from there, you move to the next person that you're comfortable with, so you can make eye contact with a number of people within that audience. If you cannot, I suggest you try building that by mirroring yourself. So make sure that you can look at yourself in the mirror and speak. Sometimes some people might underrate it, but it actually goes a long way. So your eyes should always try and make eye contact with one or two people in the audience so that you understand, or they understand, that you're confident.
Thank you. Okay, so we have comments. Yes, preparation is key. Nature versus nurture. Well done. Such great insights. Very true. Visual PowerPoint works for most audiences, especially CEOs, etc., with short attention span. Very true. Okay, that's another question. Over time, I came to realize that better than I speak, and I really want to be as good in speaking. Sometimes I stutter, sometimes my words evaporate before they get to my lips. I don't know if this is a confidence thing. I'm pretty sure I am confident.
So it is a confidence thing to some extent. You can be as confident as anything and confident as anyone. There might be a slight lack of confidence in certain ways. Maybe you didn't prepare as much, or the topic is a bit shaky for you. But like the presentation slides mentioned earlier, preparation is very key. Once you prepare, You're ready for everything. You're ready for every possible question that might come to you. You're ready to talk about the topic passionately. I'm pretty sure the stuttering will go, some of the words will disappear, and it also helps to read. So once you read normal books after, like in your free time, read, watch other people that you want to be like, it will help because it advances your control in English. It advances your control of the English language. It also helps you know what words to replace certain words with. So if you're speaking to maybe a 9-year-old, you know how to tell them this. If you're speaking to a 45-year-old, you know how to tell them this.
Yeah, true, true. Another question here is how do you handle talking to a negative and mindset audience?
Interesting. I like this question. This is a very important question because it's very difficult to convince someone that doesn't want to be convinced. Again, this is where your confidence and your manner of understanding of your topic comes in. Let's say you're trying to convince farmers as to why they should leave their traditional ways of farming and embrace change and use machinery or use AI. Mind you, they can't use AI or they're still stuck in 2002. They are people that are not adaptive to change at all. So you have to feed it to them little by little. You can't overflow them immediately. Negative-minded people will always stand that they are correct, they are right, they don't want to listen, they stand on what they're for, but you also have to stand in. One of my colleagues has always mentions, once you are handling customers, maybe irate customers, or once you are handling people that just don't want to listen, stand your ground. As long as you know that you are correct and this is what it is, this is how it is, you stand on it. You don't argue, because if you argue, it will end up intentional. It will make the situation more intense. You explain to the person, okay, this is how it is. You try and convince them rather than agitate them. You give them certain examples, certain reasons why what you're suggesting is better, or what it is that you're trying to present to them is better than the way they are already thinking. So you have to, over time, build that. If you meet someone that thinks negatively, that is an experience. So even if you don't convince that person at that time, the conversation you had might still ring in that person's head over time. So I hope that answers your questions.
Yeah, we have another question for you. It seems to be lots of questions today. How can introverts become better at public speaking? Most roles
That's
or
Go on, please go on.
careers requires this. How can introverts ditch this natural disadvantage? Did you get it?
Yes, I did.
Did you get Okay.
So introverts are people that like to be in their own shells. And my advice to every introvert is usually start by talking to one person. Get confidence by speaking to that one person first. Next time you speak to another person, because that person that you know might introduce you to another person. Let's start by having a conversation about how to make jollof, or a conversation about a movie that you've watched. You'll be surprised that a lot of people have seen it. It slowly builds your confidence to try and come out of your shell. You don't have to have a lot of friends, but once you can speak to one, speak to two, speak to three, like they say, three is a crowd. So you start building that. You have to have the mindset of you actually want to do it. Most job interviews would want you to come out and speak to a panel. You walk in and there's 5 people staring at you down and they want you to answer their questions and you leave. You have to want it. You are there to present to them, convince them why you are there. And once you do that, little by little, like they say, little drops of water make an ocean or fill up a bucket. So it all comes down to you preparing and building that confidence by yourself. No one else is going to come and pull you, because if you're being negative about it and you stay in your room all the time, you just wouldn't come forward into wanting to speak in public. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Abba. Thank you so, so much. And I believe everybody on this call enjoyed this session today because it really resonates. Even if you are not speaking publicly yet, I'm sure at some point in your career or your life, you would have an instance where you need to speak to the public. Okay, so if you did not join us from the beginning, you still have a chance to get to watch the recording, which is available on our YouTube channel at @the_value loop. And also, we bring insightful and valuable sessions to you every 2 weeks on this same channel. So until next time, thank you so much for joining us for this session, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.